It's two dudes with attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan enjoys wrestling and MW. Oh, and this is our WWE edition for the week of Friday the 13th, where we're going to talk all things SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. Ryan, are you ready? We're almost there. What are we, a month away from WrestleMania? They're building the best they can, I guess.
Yeah, it feels like forever away, but they keep reminding us that it's 5 weeks away. So we're getting there.
Yeah. Before we jump in, what's your take on what's going on? Actually, let's hit the music and then let's talk about it. Let's hit the music. Let's do it.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
Look at that. I did like a little cliffhanger for people to tune in after the intro. Do you see that?
We should do that
on purpose. I know we should. I should more oftenly mess up like that. Okay. So before we get into it, because we're bringing up WrestleMania, and this is the road to WrestleMania, I hear all these takes online about what's happening with TKO and the WWE and everything with the WrestleMania weekend. And I don't know, none of us know what's really, but I'm curious on what you think. Number one, attendance, I think, is 37 and 38,000. I believe last year it was in the 60s. So that's extremely low. Ticket prices obviously were cut down to 177 to get in. I think they'll get way lower. And they had a band all throughout Vegas. No bars, no anything could have it airing. Now they have got rid of that ban, and now all the bars in Vegas can now purchase, and you can watch WrestleMania anywhere in Las Vegas. So what say you? Do you think this is TKO realizing WWE is doomed? Is this TKO just playing games? Did Vegas come out and say, hey, bro, we paid for you to come back a second year to help our community, and you banning everybody doesn't help our community? Like, what say you? And do you think these numbers are low? Or is almost 80,000 people combined for 2 nights of WrestleMania good enough?
I think if I were looking at it, I would think it was good enough. But compared to where they were last year, like it is, 60,000 each night. That's 120,000 total, and then 37,000 right now. That's 75,000 total. That's a 45,000 person difference. And so if I were looking at it from a business standpoint, hell yeah, it's way too low. And especially with that stadium, and that stadium's huge. And there's a reason they wanted it to come back to Las Vegas, and all the rumors that had WWE wanting to, the reason that they wanted to go back to Vegas is they want Vegas to be kind of the WrestleMania hub. Like the WrestleMania is supposed to be there for like the next, couple of years after Saudi Arabia. Maybe it goes back to Vegas, and then maybe they'll do like a New York here and there, but then they'll go back to Vegas. Like they want Las Vegas to kind of be the WrestleMania capital of the world. And now they can't even sell tickets in their second year back there. It's, I mean, I don't know if it's Vegas that's saying, hey, WWE, like loosen the purse strings a little bit, stop being cheap douchebags, especially because, you have Dave and Buster's in local areas playing PLEs. Like at my local Dave and Buster's, they're playing all the AEW pay-per-views. They play all of WWE PLEs. You can go to the movie theater and watch WWE PLEs, but you can't do that in Vegas, but you price the fans out of the market. So I think it's a little bit of everything. I think it's Vegas said, hey, TKO, something's got to give. I think TKO realized, okay, something's got to give. And I think WWE is like, okay, guys, like something's got to give. I mean, WrestleMania tickets on Monday were 31.6% off because of 316 day.
Were they really?
They really were. All tickets on for sale on WWE were 31.6% off. Because
Bro, you should have hooked us up on that.
I know. But it was, it's awesome because of Austin 316 day. So I don't know. And to be honest with you, looking at the build for this show, it's not that good. And that's the thing that, like, I think that's the WrestleMania right now has a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. Last year's WrestleMania was not the best. You had the whole questionable ending with John Cena and the heel turn and Travis Scott, costing, it was a really bad. No Rock, the Rock ruined WrestleMania, supposedly, is what everyone was saying. And then the whole controversial decision to leave New Orleans and come back to Las Vegas instead. And then WrestleMania 43 being announced in Saudi Arabia, much to a lot of people's dismay, because now, and then the astronomical ticket prices and just everything going on. WrestleMania has a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And now the build to this show has not been the best. And we'll get into that when we do the episode. But yeah, I think there's just a lot of negativity surrounding WrestleMania at the moment. And I mean, I think lowering ticket prices is literally the least they could do.
Yeah, well, remember, Vegas is down too. They're down. No one goes there anymore. I used to go 3 times a year. I live, 4 hours away from Vegas. I used to go 3 times a year. I haven't gone in 2.5. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they priced me out. Vegas was fun because you got $50 hotels at any hotel. You know what I mean? You could stay at any. Bellagio was like $100 a night. Now Bellagio is $600 a night. You know what I mean? And you went to Vegas because everything was cheap, but you gambled. That was the whole point of Vegas. Hey, have a cheap vacation and then give us all your money. But hey, you're having fun, right? Now it's tables are $25 minimum. Shows are $300. Strip beers, Michelob Ultras, $4. That's what it used to be. Now they're like 12. Like people, nobody. It's just and it's because of COVID and blah blah blah. Get out of here with that. It's just Vegas is just a dying city. It really is, and I think that's another part of it is that nobody wants to go to Vegas because the hotel prices are high. They were, the ticket prices to get in are high, and I don't care what anybody says. 38,000 and 36,000 or 37 or whatever. I think that's an embarrassment. I do too. Because you're in an arena that fits 90, right? So why are you or 80 or whatever it is, 70? Why are you? What's the point of being? Why don't you just go to T-Mobile then, where the Golden Knights play? Then you could have filled that up and been perfectly fine. So I don't know. I think it hurts WWE, and I do think it shows that Triple H was doing pretty good. I know. I think people have gotten sick and tired of his booking. So I
think there's definitely a lot with that. I think. The pricing is bad. The pricing is just everything going on with WWE at the moment. Just people just are not as interested in the product. They're not as interested in Vegas. It's just not as good, and it's not as exciting at the moment. And like you were saying, 37,000 for WrestleMania. Yeah, from a fan's perspective, it seems like a lot. From a business perspective, I would be embarrassed. And like you were saying, it fills 90,000 people in the arena. And you have 37,000. That's, we were criticizing AEW just a couple years ago for that very reason. They would go and book the Tea Garden place in Boston, and, it holds 25, 30,000 people, and they would get 6. And you could tell that nobody was there. You could tell by how quiet that arena was, and you could see the empty seats. And we would clown AEW for that. And they changed course. They went to the smaller arenas. They went to the smaller venues, and they only do the big venues now for pay-per-views. And, Revolution looked great. But now you look at WrestleMania, and they're not 37,000 people in a $90,000 person arena. That's not good. That's not good at all.
No, and you are right, because that is what we made fun of AEW about. Why are you going to these huge arenas if you can't fill them? I mean, it looks like they're still filling up Raws and SmackDowns and stuff, but no, for sure I don't know. But we'll see. There's a month left. There is hope. I have a feeling those tickets are going to drop to like $100. That's why I want you to wait, because I feel like they're going to drop pretty low. And I think that people are going to drop them lower, the people the bots and stuff that bought a whole bunch of them, hoping to sell them for high prices, who now are like, I need to get some kind of money out of it, and they'll sell them at dirt cheap. I'm assuming.
I hope so. Because I wouldn't mind going to WrestleMania again. We had a good time.
That was Hollywood. Woo! All right, let's talk some SmackDown. We got the build. We got to go on this. We went a little too crazy there, but I was curious because that's the big talk right now is the whole TKO and WrestleMania situations. But let's get into it. And we had Drew McIntyre, freshly off his loss to Cody Rhodes. comes out with a little bit of Jacob Fatu, and basically Drew McIntyre says, I quit. Yet again, if you don't remember, when he was with CM Punk, he quit then too. So he decides to quit. He's sick of Fatu. He's sick of Cody. He's sick of everybody. He doesn't, sick of the fans, the world, his mother. And he leaves, and then Fatu wrestles one Trick Williams, and here comes Drew McIntyre literally like an hour later or so, lays him out. Trick Williams gets the win, which is super cool, but it looks like we're getting Drew versus Fatu at WrestleMania. What say you? Did you like all this? And did he really have to quit to surprise Fatu later on? Couldn't he have just said, I'm not going to fight you at WrestleMania and leave and then come back? And then that would have been a better option, not just quitting again. He should have been a masked man too, because there's two things we do here. We quit and we wear masks. So why not just...
Yeah. So all of that was bad. And then to make matters worse, he's not even, as of right now, on Wednesday night, March 18th, 2026, it's not booked for WrestleMania.
No, it's not.
It's booked for Friday night. It's Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre on SmackDown this Friday. So it makes me wonder, is it going to lead to, it's obviously going to lead to a match at WrestleMania, I'm assuming. But they booked the match for this Friday. And so I'm like, why are we doing this? You did El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
On, a potential WrestleMania match on Raw. Now you're doing Drew versus Jacob, a potential WrestleMania match on SmackDown. It makes me wonder, maybe we're not getting Drew at WrestleMania. Maybe these rumors of him leaving to film this movie maybe they're true. And they're going to write him off television this Friday and we're not going to see him. But then what happens to Jacob? What happens going forward with that? So I don't know, but it's just a lot of questionable booking at the moment. And the quitting thing was stupid. And then, like you said, why'd you have to quit to cost Jacob Fatu against Trick Williams? You didn't have to do all that.
No, just call him a B word, say I don't want to wrestle you, and leave, and then come back and beat him, or kick his butt. But yeah, I don't. No Drew at WrestleMania would be very sad because, like I said, he's the MVP at WWE. Not him 100%. Not being there would be super duper disappointed. But something that was kind of disappointing, your boy Jelly Roll was back, baby. And I loved the funny thing is that the rumors around the windmill were that the person coming back is Bad Bunny to the Super Descent. And all these people are saying WWE wouldn't bring Bad Bunny back. They're super MAGA. They're super Donald Trump, this and that. Eric Bischoff, who's a MAGA, and all these other people come out and they're like, WWE doesn't get political. They had Bad Bunny. Well, that was Bad Bunny during Vince. That was before it got political. So who appears? Jelly Roll. We got Jelly Roll, the man who is full-blown turning into Kid Rock out of nowhere, which is super disappointing because I feel like his fan base is more liberal than conservative, but he's gone full, heel in a sense, if that's the way you want to see it. And he is now all about that. So, of course, he gets invited. He's there for absolutely no reason. He's on Miz TV. Kit Wilson comes out who wants to hold, our Miz is holding Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson ducks and Jelly Roll punches Miz in the face. Doesn't seem to really care. And then we'll talk about seeing Jelly Roll later on as well because he was in the main event as well, or the main event option part of the show. But the whole thing with the Miz is that he was cursed. Danhausen cursed him before and made him do that. And then the Miz basically said the curse isn't real. So Danhausen kept the curse going because he disappeared again. So it looks like the Miz is going to be cursed for the foreseeable future. The Jelly Roll thing is stupid. I thought he did fine in his first match, but we don't need him here. I don't understand it. That's the celebrity we're going to get for WrestleMania. And secondly, the Miz can't catch a break, huh? This man is a company man. They're like, into WrestleMania season, you want to get cursed and have bad luck all the way into it? Sign me up. Can I be the host? Sure. It's just very, very disappointing for the Miz.
Yeah, I do too. I completely agree. It's awful. And I love the Miz. I think he's fantastic. I think he has a knack similar to Kevin Owens of turning chicken salad into chicken shit, or chicken shit into chicken salad, turning the other way around. Something that shouldn't be as good, and he turns it into something that's amazing. And the Miz has a knack for doing just that, and I love it. But he couldn't save this segment. I didn't like this segment at all. I don't really understand the Drew or the Jelly Roll thing. I don't understand that whole why are we doing that? And to me, it makes me feel like the WWE really did change course. Because it makes me wonder if it really was supposed to be Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, at WrestleMania and that Jelly Roll appearance, because the couple weeks before he was like, I'm going to be on SmackDown. I'm going to come congratulate you for winning the Elimination Chamber, Randy, like he did like an appearance. And then he didn't show up. And then he came on last week after Cody won the title. But it makes me wonder, like maybe Drew was supposed to come out and attack Jelly Roll and take him off and write him off TV. And that's how we get the story and the build between Randy and Drew McIntyre. Because I think that would have been better than the freaking Jelly Roll versus Kit Wilson. Are you kidding me? Is that the WrestleMania match? Kit Wilson gets a WrestleMania match? But
I don't think so.
I don't know. Like, and then this Danhausen thing, like the crowd loves it, so I'll give him credit for that.
I think he's doing good. Yeah, he's doing better than AEW, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely doing that, but I don't know. It's just,
yeah. He needs to wrestle.
He does need to wrestle.
That's what happened with him in AEW. You can't just have him be a side edge. He needs to wrestle too. He needs to show his skill if he has it. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, something that doesn't make sense. That's your twin brother, your doppelganger, Sami Zayn. Is he a heel? Is he a babyface? Does he like Cody? Does he not? Well, basically, he met Cody backstage. He's bitching and moaning again that he won the title, and he basically says that he doesn't look up to Cody Rhodes because they are equal. I don't know how they are equal because Sami Zayn's never won a championship, and he's headlined one WrestleMania and a tag team. Cody Rhodes has main event of the last 3 straight WrestleMania and is like a multi-world champion and the whole face of the company. But nonetheless, they're equals because they're friends. He looks up to Randy Orton because him and Randy Orton are not friends. Make it make sense, Sammy. But the key thing is, what does it all mean, Basil? What are we doing here, Ryan? What are we doing with Sami Zayn? Because he just sounds like a whiny little bitch. Excuse my language.
I feel like what they're doing is this is obviously leading to some sort of heel turn. I really hope that it is. And I think Aleister Black is kind of playing he's the new Karrion Kross in WWE.
That's what they're saying, yeah.
You know, that because Randy, he was hanging out with Randy Orton for a while, and now Randy Orton, which we'll get into in a minute, snaps. And then same thing now with Sami Zayn. And now and Sami Zayn's been snapping backstage, and last thing we see is Aleister Black saying something to him, and Sami Zayn says, "Stay away from me," you know, similar to what he said with Karrion Kross. And then they had
he said he doesn't belong in the world title picture.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And he said, "Stay far away from me."
Yeah. No, Biff, you leave me alone. I think he took his wallet. Yeah, but it was just that I don't know what they're doing because this. It's been the same thing now for 3-4 straight weeks of Cody yelling at Sami yelling at Cody, the two of them just, you know, about to come to blows, and then Sami Zayn destroying everything backstage and having a little temper tantrum, and then they cut to black, and then the next week, hey Cody, listen, about last week, I'm congratulations on your win, and Cody, oh well, I feel like you said the same thing to Randy. It's just like, I don't know, I don't like what they're doing. Let's move on. Like Triple H has a tendency to drag stories out a little too long, and it's going to get to a point if he doesn't move quickly, sometime like this week or next week, that people aren't going to care anymore. And it's whatever they have in store for Sami Zayn is people aren't going to be as excited about it. So he needs to move quickly because people are going to turn on it.
I fully agree, and they're going to get sick of it, especially if there's no outcome, like no end result. I do think. And I said this before we started, but I just have a feeling he's going to, like, if Randy does win, it's going to be because Sami Zayn. Like, Sami Zayn's going to, we're not friends and we're not, and I don't look up or something, you know what I mean? He's going to cost Cody Rhodes, and that's how he's going to turn heel. And we're going to get Cody versus Sami after WrestleMania in the, boring season of WWE. I think that's what they're going at because I don't see how else. We're not going to have Cody versus Randy in a match. So that doesn't, like, before Mania. So where else do you do here?
And maybe Sami Zayn was on the phone with Randy Orton on Monday Night Raw, and that's the connection. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, you guys are a royal family. All right. Well, speaking of Randy Orton, we're gonna get into it now. I'm gonna let you tell it. Randy ends out SmackDown a certain way. Your boy Jelly Roll is back, and then Randy cuts a promo on Raw. Let us know, Ryan, what happened.
Randy Orton turned heel for those that haven't heard, he turned heel in air quotes because the fans were absolutely loving it. They were cheering the whole time. They were excited to see heel Randy Orton, I guess, or Viper Randy Orton, or they were more excited about Cody Rhodes, who people are starting to sour on, get his ass kicked.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It was more of the same old crap from Cody Rhodes, like, oh, whatever happens after that bell rings, just know that I'll always love you. And Randy Orton, just like, he wasn't having it, and then he just beat the snot out of Cody Rhodes. And then Jelly Roll came out to try to break it up, and Randy Orton shoved him down to the ground. And then Randy Orton, goes and hits Cody Rhodes with a chair, like, over the head. And then he goes and sits on the chair, sits in the middle of the ring holding the title. It's a really cool way to end the show. It was really well done, but I didn't care for it because I've seen it before. Yeah. 2024, The Rock turns heel, beats Cody Rhodes to a bloody pulp. 2025, John Cena turns heel, beats Cody Rhodes to a bloody pulp. 2026, Randy Orton turns heel, beats Cody Rhodes to a bloody pulp. And I'm curious to hear Randy's explanation as to why he did what he did, because that's going to make or break whether or not I like this segment. Because last year, John Cena turned on Cody, he beat up Cody Rhodes and aligned with The Rock, and it was because you guys made fun of me and booed me all those years ago, and it was a stupid reason to attack Cody Rhodes. And then we all know what happened with The Rock a couple years ago, but this year, like, there's a lot of story, there's a lot of history with Randy and Cody, but it just feels forced. Like, we all kind of knew it was going to happen. We knew Randy was going to turn heel, or Cody, one of them was going to turn heel. It was more likely going to be Randy. It was going to happen on SmackDown because we got to get those ticket prices for WrestleMania that we were talking about. We got to get excitement for it. People are already pissed about Drew McIntyre losing the title. How do we get people amped about this title match? It just feels 100% forced. It didn't feel natural. And that's what I didn't like about it. I thought it was well done. I thought Randy did showed out, did fantastic. But I just don't like. I'm curious to hear his explanation. It better not be anything stupid like, oh, well, I got jealous of Cody because he got too big for his britches. That's stupid. I'm sorry. Like, come up with a really good reason as to why you attacked him, and then don't make it feel forced, because right now that's exactly how this feels.
Well, and then Randy cut a promo on Raw where he's supposed to get interviewed, but he's on the phone, and he ends by, and then he says there's more than one royal family, and the crowd popped, and basically he told Michael to go shove it.
And every content creator thinks that Randy Orton's either talking to The Rock, which I could see that makes sense, and he's talking to Kevin Owens, which I could kind of see, because Kevin was basically saying everything that Drew McIntyre has been saying, and Cody Rhodes has been doing. So maybe Randy and Cody were friends, or Kevin and Randy were friends for a while there. So, but then people are saying he was talking to, like Ric Flair or Ted DiBiase Jr. from prison. So who maybe they're going to let him out because to build for
TKO good.
Trump will pardon him, and then he'll show up at WrestleMania. But I don't know. Like, to me, like, the only thing that makes sense for me is Ric Flair, because Evolution and Ric Flair's history with Dusty, and SmackDown is in my neck of the woods this Friday night, and in North Carolina, which is where Ric Flair is from. So, and if there's anything that we like to do in North Carolina when SmackDown or Raw is in town, it's woo before every show. They do it all throughout the arena. Woo, woo, woo. So I almost guarantee you it's Ric Flair making an appearance on TV.
Well, yawn too, but we'll see. We'll see. I honestly don't care either way, but I think this was forced. They couldn't have babyface. And Roman and CM Punk none of them are going to turn, as you can tell from. You can have one babyface versus babyface. That's fine. But you needed a heel. It wasn't going to be Cody. I never thought for a second it was going to be Cody. And that's the whole reason why Randy turning wasn't that great, in my opinion. And people keep saying stories, and I think people forget. Like Punk and Roman. I said how it didn't mean anything, didn't like the match, and everyone called me stupid online, and they have a history, but they don't have a history. No. So much so that this is their third promo, which we'll talk about soon, and they already don't know what to talk about anymore because there is no history. Randy and Cody both being in the same faction at one point, There's no history. What are we? That's why. Like, what is he gonna say? Talk about legacy? Half the fans don't even know what legacy is. So it's like legacy was probably the least most popular faction in our last 20 or so years. Him, DiBiase, that made nobody knows. When people think of Randy in a faction, what do they think of? Evolution. And the end. You know what I mean? They don't ever think. They probably even think of him and Edge more than they think of Randy. Yeah, and like it just is what it is. So I mean, there is no story. Just because they have a history doesn't mean they have a story, right? That there is no story. And so I think that's why they had to turn him heel, right? They got to get the crowd going. They need more seats. And we'll see if it adds in Sami Zayn as well. But we talked about Randy. He'll address on SmackDown, which was smart. I actually like that because it showed that he is truly a heel. Bad guys turn down interviews. But on Monday Night Raw, I had to say really quick, there was a sign and I wanted to take a picture of it. I saw it once. There's actually quite a few good signs at Raw this week, although I hate signs. They when you're there.
Oh yeah.
But it had it was a small sign and it said, "Oh wait, I have an idea. One more guy in a mask or add one more person or something like."
Yeah, I saw that, the masked man sign. Yeah.
Hilarious. Like it's the bookers backstage like, "What are we going to do tonight? How about another masked man?" Straight, it was the sign of the night in my opinion. I loved it. I thought it was flipping hilarious. And we opened up the show with the masked men again. And you know what was the funniest part about this scene? So Raw opens up with all these dumb masked men. Seth Rollins goes right in the ring, takes off his mask, right? Michael Cole addressed him as the leader of
the masked man.
Of the masked man. Like, is he like all of a sudden a 35-person crew? Or was he in a 35-person crew until Paul Heyman came out? By the way, Paul Heyman, he deserves an Emmy. He is the greatest actor, performer, and that man, do you see the way he presented himself for the product to show how like beat up and beaten down he was by Seth Rollins was pure genius. But they bring out Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, if that was the leader of the crew, he took that crew out in about 7 seconds. Some of those poor guys looked like he really hurt. He was throwing them into each other. It was like bowling pins. And Brock Lesnar beats everyone up. He gets face to face. And we've been talking about the road to WrestleMania not being great and Triple H not booking properly anymore. And Triple H being the old Vince McMahon and yada, yada, yada. But that Judgment Day turn with Finn Balor, I thought was some of the best TV I've seen in WWE in a long time. This segment, I think, was some of the best TV I've seen in WWE in a long time. So they are doing it. And actually, Randy holding the belt on the chair, that's iconic. That could be a T-shirt. So I feel I feel like they are doing some things right now on this road to WrestleMania that are working. Just there are some bad things. And the Seth Rollins part was bad. But basically, Oba Femi interrupts, comes out. Seth looks at Brock Lesnar, then runs away. And Oba Femi manhandles Brock Lesnar. And I have to say, Roman gets a lot of credit for selling, for his facial reactions, always looking, even at the end, when we'll talk about on Raw, he sold it pretty well. But damn, dude, when Brock Lesnar wants to go in business with you, did you see his face? He was like in pure shock when Oba threw his ass up and then powerbombed him. And the fact that Brock Lesnar allowed Oba to put one foot on his chest and point at the WrestleMania sign. I know Brock Lesnar is allegedly a bad human being who possibly did some bad things to females, which is not acceptable, but it's also allegedly, right? We don't know. He wasn't accused, or he was accused, but he wasn't tried or ever held account, right?
Yeah, he's named in the lawsuit, but he's not
named, but yes. So maybe he is a piece, but when it comes to the business, that's a pretty good dude right there. And the fact that he didn't have to let that happen. That's Oba's, now Oba has to win at WrestleMania. If he doesn't win, then it's pointless, right? Then he gets the Omos treatment. And I think he's going to win. I think he needs to squash him. I think he beats Brock in 2 minutes. That's what needs to happen. But nonetheless, am I making too big of a deal out of this? I predicted Oba being the guy right off the bat. Everyone was saying Gunther and so on. You can check the chat. I said Oba right away. And then I had a fear that it was going to be Seth. Props to Triple H. He saw that. He pretended it was Seth and then went to Oba. Pure genius. I thought this was, as the kids say, pure cinema.
No, I love this, man. I thought this was, they got me. And, anytime you can get got in wrestling, that's when you know the segment worked. But because I thought for sure we were getting Seth versus Brock. And I didn't hate that. I didn't hate that idea. It made sense with Braun Breaker being hurt and Bronson Reed. I was like, he took out Paul Heyman, so it made sense for it to be Brock. And then it was Oba out of nowhere, and it was just incredible. And that crowd was hyped when he came out, and I think the crowd made it an even better moment than it was, because that crowd was amped. They were doing the every time he like took a step.
A vibe, dude.
It was incredible. It was great stuff. And like you said, man, Brock, we got to give kudos to Brock, because Brock, this is a guy that put Cody Rhodes over twice. We don't give him a lot of credit for that. He put over Roman Reigns in his last run when he was like Farmer Brock and Cowboy Brock. He made Roman Reigns look strong. There's a clip on YouTube running around that I can see if I can find, but it's when Drew McIntyre was going after Brock Lesnar. It was right before COVID hit, and it was when Drew eliminated Brock in the Rumble. And on an episode of Raw, because Brock was the champion, on an episode of Raw, like Drew takes out Brock, and you could hear Brock like audibly say, grab the title and hold it. And like it was like a moment where it was like it made Drew look strong. It made Drew look really cool holding the title over his head. And to me, that just shows how much Brock cares about the business, how much he does care about the other people in the business. He really does. Like, he is a piece of shit in real life, most likely, allegedly, but he does care about like the wrestlers. And I think he cares about putting on a good performance. And I think he cares about the show. And I don't think he gets a lot of credit for that.
No, if I was Oba Femi, I want to see, like we have this show, right? Unreal or whatever, that's stupid. But I want to see what really happened when those two dudes walk. Because did Oba Femi just go, Brock, come here and like give him the biggest like thank you? Because that was like, Brock is at that level. John Cena didn't do that kind of stuff, you know what I mean, until his final run. Like the fact that Brock is okay with like putting him over like that is like Oba should be that scene, that image, that foot on the chest will forever be a part of Oba Femi. If he has a 30-year career, that will always be shown in highlights and moments. He has to win. Yeah. Something that I was kind of excited. Well, let's get into it. There was a match, a very AEW type match with former AEW guys, and when Penta and Dragon Lee, Dom got injured. I don't know if you knew, but in AAA, he had a chair thrown at his head and it busted his skull up. And Dom looked legitimately like, what the heck? Like, I'm not used to this. He looked visibly like distraught when that happened in the match. But nonetheless, Dom cannot compete right now. So they gave the title chance to one Dragon Lee. And it was like 20 minutes or so, I should look. But it was a fun ass match. It was an AEW match, fast paced, all over the place, good stuff. You know what I mean? Penta won. It was just like you said, no story. Dragon Lee was just getting destroyed by Gunther, and it looked like that's where we're going. We didn't have a Gunther appearance. Dragon Lee was just A-okay, wrestled the match perfectly fine or whatever. But I thought it was fun. And the thing that I'm kind of curious is like, is this what Penta's going to bring? Is this what we're going to do? Is WWE bringing kind of these luchadors over now to kind of give the fans the whole like, hey, we wrestle too, right? We can have those AEW type of matches, or is just like a one-off? And it is, but the crowd loved it. The crowd wasn't bored. They were chanting holy shit through all of it. I mean, it was getting a very, very, and it was the match of the week in WWE, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of all of it. I think they realize that AEW has momentum. Just despite the attendance and despite what we might think of the shows, AEW has beaten NXT now 3 straight weeks in the ratings. And so I think people are I think they're enjoying AEW a lot more. And I think WWE maybe this was the start of something that, okay, we're going to still continue doing our thing, but we're going to sprinkle this in because the fans seem to love it. Now, it could have also been thrown, like you were saying, thrown at the last minute because Dom got hurt, but that match was great. It was a fantastic match. It was Dragon Lee was a great fill-in for Dom. So I am curious to see where they go, but yeah, it was a fun match, man. And again, I think it was the San Antonio crowd. They were hot. They were hot. They didn't slow down either. They were hot the entire night. And I think the crowd made that match as great as it was. So shout out to everybody involved. I thought it was all very well done.
And I'm glad you said that because they also helped make that Oba Femi moment too. The way they reacted, you said the oohs, and when they got hit, it was just
everything
amazing. I think WWE needs to do what WCW did when they were ruling on Nitro. And the thing that WCW did great was that they had all the old timers. They had the Cody Rhodeses and the Roman Reigns, right? And the Hogans and the blah, blah, blahs, right? But they were never the beginning of the hour. They always started each episode with the luchadors, the Rey Mysterios, and this and that. I don't see why WWE can't do that. Don't open with promos. Open up the show hot. Have Penta versus Dragon Lee, but you have Penta as your champion. Open challenge every night. Opens up with Raw and have Penta have a match, kill it for 20 minutes, and then you cut it to your first promo, and then you go for there. Get that crowd bumping, fans involved. That's what WCW did well. And the cruiserweight division was more popular than almost the NWO at some points. People loved the Eddie Guerreros and Chris Jericho at the time, Rey Mysterio and just Juventud Guerrera. All those guys were like carrying Monday Nitro, and that's what kind of made them so famous. I think WWE should take kind of the same formula. I think it would work really well for them, and they can say, hey, we do have a wrestling match every Monday night now. You know what I mean? That actually lasts long.
Yeah.
But we had also AJ Lee defeat one Bayley. Bayley's now going to team up with Lyra and hopefully get a women's tag team match. I do like that they're pushing a story of Bayley trying to have a WrestleMania moment, which I'm assuming means she will have one. They're not going to make it knowledgeable and then just hold her out for like a fourth straight year. But that wasn't the part. The part was they went to commercial break after AJ Lee won. She had a half decent match this time, wrestling Bayley. It makes sense. But Becky Lynch, after the commercial break, is literally beating the snot out of her already. At least on the one I watched, it like jumped right in at Becky Lynch, already beating her up. She nails her with the belt. Obviously, we're going to get Becky versus AJ Lee at WrestleMania. Did you like this? You glad Becky's back? What else were they going to do with AJ Lee, right? I mean, she's going to lose at Mania too, but
it's the only thing that made sense was AJ and Becky. There's unfinished story there. There's history there. And, but going back to your point about Bayley, like they held her out last year because of Becky Lynch. It wouldn't surprise me if they hold her out again this year because of Becky Lynch. So, I think
but they're making a story now. Like they're saying she needs and Lyra's trying to help her. You can't do all this and not have her on it, right? That's a straight slap in the face. Dude, we're going to give you the storyline where you're trying to get in a Mania match and then you don't. And even though you deserve a Mania match over most people who have Mania matches, you're not going to get one.
Yeah. I know. I agree, but crazier things have happened. So, and we know how the WWE feels about Bayley. They certainly do not give a shit about her. So, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope she does get on the Mania card and competes for the women's tag team championships or something. But, But either way, I love this segment with Becky Lynch. I mean, Becky and AJ, it makes sense. I can't wait for their Mania match, and I can't wait for unhinged Becky Lynch. I think she's at her best with her current gimmick at the moment.
Best female in the world right now. I also thought it was funny too that they were saying that Bayley was going to win a IC title opportunity that would get her a Mania match. You know how many Manias have secondary titles not at WrestleMania being defended, but all of a sudden the women's secondary titles guaranteed to be defended at WrestleMania? I thought that was kind of funny. Like the tag team titles are guaranteed. Like there's title matches all the time not at WrestleMania, but neither here nor there. All right, well, we end it with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns and the Usos are now buddies again. They're handshaking, they're jiving. Roman Reigns called a hit for all Samoans, so attack CM Punk before and after WrestleMania. Then the boys cut a promo. Ryan, I'll let you talk about it and discuss it. What'd you think of this promo? What happened in the promo, and what'd you think about it?
All right. I thought this was their weakest promo of the three that they've had so far. It was the same old thing every single week. And, shout out to Roman Reigns, because I do think he's holding his own against CM Punk. And I think CM Punk is getting a little flabbergasted and flustered because nothing seems to be affecting Roman Reigns. And that's probably the story that they're trying to tell. But
it is, yeah.
I still didn't like this. I mean, 2 weeks ago, CM Punk insulted Roman Reigns' dead father. He's going to bury him next to his dead dad. And this week, or last week, the Usos are demanding an apology. We need an apology. How can you insult our family? And CM Punk gives a half-assed apology. This week, we get Roman Reigns coming out. He's smiling. He's high-fiving. He's dapping everyone up. He's talking about, like you said, he put a hit out for everyone to attack CM Punk. He's telling everyone back. He's telling the Usos that, I'm a part-timer. So what? That means I'm a full-time dad. I'm a family man. No one comes between me and my family. Then he gets into the ring with CM Punk, and CM Punk is doing his same old shtick of you're part-time, I'm here every week. You're part-time, I'm here every week. You're a copycat of who I am. You're chasing me. Only my friends can call me Phil. So don't call me Phil. And then Roman Reigns calls him old. And that's what set CM Punk off. Like nothing about his dead dad. Nothing like you disrespected my family. Now I'm going to tear you. I'm going to kick your nothing. Like nothing. It was you're old. And CM Punk snaps. And that was it. And to me, like I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you were saying that Punk and Roman have really nothing left to talk about. And I think that's the case here. I don't think they have anything left to talk about. They don't really, this story feels forced. This story feels like, two of the biggest stars in the WWE, which they are, and they deserve to main event. But at the same time, it's like, but what's the story? Like, why should we care? Like, all these guys are doing is just trying to out insult each other. And there's really no story there. So yeah, this was their weakest of the 3 promos they've had so far.
Number one, before I say anything, Roman Reigns is 40. CM Punk is 47. Now, to some young kids, maybe 7 years seems like a really, really far apart difference. The old thing is weird to me because 7 years doesn't make someone older. They're older, but they're not old. If you're not old, then they're not old. Finn Balor's 44, right? So my thing is that I'm throwing in Finn Balor for a reason. CM Punk is old because he's not in shape. Like, I'm not saying he can wrestle and so on, but that's the whole gimmick, right? More so than, I know you can't body shame anymore, so maybe that's why they're not going that route. But like, does Finn Balor look 44? Does he look 3 years younger than CM Punk?
Yeah.
No, because he's a chiseled freak, right? That's like Roman Reigns. He's 40, but look at him. He looks like a freaking chiseled freak. Like, CM Punk just doesn't. CM Punk looks like me. You know what I mean? So it just looks like a guy who has fun and eats some food and wrestles for a living. You know what I mean? Which is fine. But I the whole old thing was stupid. But I got to say this. I actually liked this promo. And I actually liked it a lot. I was entertained. I dug it. I liked that Roman Reigns did like the whole 8 Mile on him where he's like, I'm going to say everything you go say about me before you say it. Like, I liked it. I liked that he's like, I didn't like that he was offended by the dad thing, but then he was like cool with like you're not affecting me at all. Well, kind of, because you had the Usos go beat him up. But nonetheless, I liked it. I liked that Roman tried to leave and CM Punk didn't let him. Was like, get your ass back in the ring. I liked it. I liked that they weren't talking about. I thought the shit that they said was good. I thought everything was good until he said, you're old. And then he punched him as hard as he can. I was like, what in the, like, because it's not like we've had these things lately where people have been calling CM Punk old and he's like, nobody calls me Yella. And he's like mad about it. So it just like you're
Hey McFly.
Yeah. You know what's funny? This reminded me of the, like, I've had comments before where people are like, oh, you're old. Oh, you don't know what you're, just because you're old. And I feel like that's like what these like clowns in the IWC and even like, even the Johnnies and stuff are trying to say, like, people old didn't have opinions and wrestling and this and that, like on the content creators and stuff. Like, I feel like that's what they thought the reactions would be when they say that to us. Like, I would be like, what? Punch. Like, you call me old. I'm not old. I don't care. 40's not old, just so you. 47
no, I just turned 40.
Old, just so like, and 47's like not old. I'm sorry to break it to you people, man. Like, people look good now. 40 is like the new 20s, and that's a real thing. So I didn't like that. I thought the ending was weak, but I like how Roman sold it. I like how even when he was like, I got you, he was still like holding his eye, like that hurt. I like that he got in the mic and was like, I'm in his head. I liked it all. I thought at least it sparked something going on. But the old thing, I don't know.
That's what
that before.
Everything else was
stupid.
good.
Who cares if he's old?
And there's a rumor going around on the dirt sheets that Roman was supposed to deliver a line about CM Punk's dead dog in return, Larry, and Punk said no, so that's why he changed it to old, because it's too close to his passing or something. And if that's the case, which I don't think it is, I don't believe that for the life of me. But if it is the case, then I don't know. It makes CM Punk look really weak that you can make fun of his dead father, but he makes fun of your dead dog, and no, we can't have that. No. Sorry. And if he does, then if he does, then we're gonna have a brawl out situation all over again because he went off script and he's gonna fight him backstage. Like, no. Sorry.
CM Punk does not want to fight Roman Reigns. I'm sorry to break it to you.
No.
Here we've all seen CM Punk fight. There's a reason he went after Luke Perry's son, for crying out loud. But no, I don't buy that at all. There's no look at I'm not the biggest animal person, so I don't know how it is. I have 2 cats right now. I'm not really like, I've never lost a pet. I know you have. I know other people have.
Yeah.
You have them hung up on your wall. But I'm sorry to break it to you. No matter how close you are to that animal, nothing compares to losing your father as a son.
Oh,
like
yeah.
unless you and your father are complete, you can lose 15 dogs in a row that you've had since you were the day you were born until you were 80, and they lived that long and they died. That is not compared to losing your father. So if that was true, I don't buy that, because Roman Reigns would have said, I'm not going to let you dog on my dad or just try. I don't think so. I think that's more of the whole like CM Punk doesn't like play the game. CM Punk is not a true. I don't buy that at all.
Yeah, I don't buy it
Not
either.
whatsoever.
But that's the rumor as to why the line.
No, that's Dave Meltzer shit right there, isn't it? Because Meltzer hates Punk and this, whatever. But nonetheless, I thought it was intriguing. I know you didn't really dig it, and a lot of people on the internet didn't like it. But I think I called that too, because after that first promo, I said it's going to get boring when you just come out once in a while and you're going to cut 3 or 4 promos on the lead to WrestleMania. There's only so much to talk about because you're not building any story. There's no story, and you're not building a story in between. So it is what it is. It looks like we're getting the bloodline back, but all right.
Supposedly.
But there's that. Yeah. All right, let's get into NXT. NXT was doing their damn thing, and NXT was in Houston. For whatever reason, they decided to leave Florida for a second. I don't know why, but they're in Houston.
Appreciation Night. Yeah.
Which, you know what? I know we didn't have this talking about, but I got to say, Booker T gets a really bad rap. And yes, I know that he's pretty much a shitty announcer, but when you watch that video package, it kind of shows that he's not a shitty announcer, is he? Because he did get Stephanie Vaquero over. Him enjoying that move got her who she is. It truly did in the WWE. And that was because of him. He got JC Jane over. Trick Williams. He's the reason whooped that. And I think that was true tears. And I just think it really showed a really cool side of Booker T. I just wanted to say that. Props
Roxanne
to Booker
Perez.
T, man. Good well, yeah, but he trained her. So that was obvious. But it's just a really it was nice to showcase him because, and I think they only did that because he got the worst announcer award or whatever. And I think they were trying to pay him back for it. Like, dude, you're not. He's just different. But yeah, nonetheless, props to Booker T because he's done a lot for the people in that organization. So, and he looked like he was genuinely crying. But let's get into it. JC Jane wrestled Sol Ruca and Zarya. JC Jane won, and she pinned Sol Ruca, for crying out loud. What say you? Are we I thought for sure we were getting JC Jane, Sol Ruca at Stand and Deliver. Now it looks like we're going to get Zarya and Sol Ruca at Stand and Deliver. Sol Ruca's never going to win a title. Who's JC Jane going to wrestle? What'd you think of all this? What's your...
Yeah, that's the question mark for me is what are we doing for Stand and Deliver? Because who's JC Jane wrestling for the NXT Women's Championship? Sol Ruca and Zarya, there's a story there. Why not put the title on the line? Why not put the belt on Sol Ruca and have Sol Ruca versus Zarya for the Women's Championship? It makes perfect sense. But I don't know what the heck they're doing, man. I'm curious to see. I mean, I guess Sol Ruca and Zarya, you could argue, doesn't need a championship, but I feel like it would make it feel a lot more special to have a championship in the match. And then JC Jane just kind of feels like a second class or a second fiddle in the women's division in NXT, and she's the champion. But everyone's talking about is Sol Ruca and Zarya. So I don't know. I feel like she's not getting the respect she deserves right now either.
Yeah, and I here's my thing. JC Jane doesn't need the title. She's proven her point. She was supposed to be a nobody, a one-hit wonder, and she's had the title forever, and she's a 2-time champion. But I do think Sol Ruca and Zarya needed it. I think that was the whole point of their beefing. They broke up because of it. I thought I want Sol Ruca to be the champion, but I thought it would have made way more sense to have Zarya cheat to win. Like have Sol Ruca do her finisher, and then Zarya throws Sol Ruca out of the ring and pins JC Jane, and we go in and deliver Zarya versus Sol Ruca, where Sol Ruca can then win her first ever title by getting revenge. But they missed that boat. I don't know why. I mean, Sol Ruca and Zarya in a regular match is fine, but nothing to write home about. Titles mean something. And speaking of titles meaning something, Ricky Saints and your boy Ethan Page decided to pretend they hate each other, and they teamed up on Joe Hendry and were beating him down. And then all of a sudden, Joe Hendry gets speared from hell by somebody, and Tony D comes in and lays everybody out and stands tall. And it looked like, okay, what's going to happen in this title run? We're going to get some cool things. And now we get Ricky Saints versus Tony D next week. It wasn't announced that that's the number one contender. I'm assuming Tony D is going to beat Ricky Saints, and then Ethan Page is going to say like, well, I could do it better, and then Ricky Saints. But it's pretty close, right? It's April 4th, so we don't have that much time to really get there. But are we doing Tony D versus Joe Hendry for the title at Stand and Deliver? Or are we getting a 4-way?
I think.
What do you think is happening?
I think we're getting a 4-way. So I don't think whatever happens next week. I think Ethan Page will come out and inadvertently cost Ricky Saints the match, and then those two will bicker, and then they'll start. Maybe that's when the breakup happens. They'll start shoving each other, and then Joe Hendry's going to come out and get his revenge on Tony D'Angelo for his attack this week, and it's just going to be a melee in the ring. It's going to be a brawl, one of those pull apart brawls or something, and it's going to lead to a 4-way at Stand and Deliver. That's what I foresee happening. And I don't hate it. I'm not opposed to that. I think it's
because then Tony D can pin somebody else, and then you have to pin Joe Hendry to win, because Tony D needs the championship, just like Absolutely. So does. But yeah. But nonetheless, good stuff. NXT's cooking. I like it. And they got the Birthrights. That's a new team. By the way, the Birthright, I texted you.
Yeah.
So is he only in it because his girlfriend is a Birthright? Is that why?
I guess.
But why? Yeah. But he's like defending and in the like, I literally looked him up because I'm like, is he? And I don't know.
He's from North Carolina. I learned that today too.
Yeah, but he's not related to it. He's no second generation, third generation star. So why the hell is he in it? So confusing.
He was also part of the family with Tony D'Angelo, and he's not. Yeah. He's not even a member of that family. I don't know.
No, well, they're both not. No one's Italian anymore. No one's anymore. Forget about it. Yeah. But anyway, well, there it is. That's our week in review. Sorry we went a little bit over, but nonetheless, WrestleMania, we got 3 more weeks, I think, of television, or maybe 3.5, 4 weeks, something like that. But it's the 18th and 19th, so we're almost there. I'm excited kind of to see where it goes. We got to start getting these matches. You were talking about the whole Drew and Fatu being on SmackDown. They also did the Vision getting tag team opportunities against the Usos, and I'm like, cool, WrestleMania, what are we going to do with Seth? And now it's on Raw next week. So I'm like, okay, does that mean we're getting all the masked men coming out to cost them the match, and we're going to get – because I was hoping, hey, if they go for the tag team titles, which they should, then maybe we're going to get Braun back before Mania and the challenge Seth Rollins, because Paul Heyman was very adamant that he was done with Seth Rollins. So, but you know what I mean? Like, we can't do it. We got to move on. We've got to play chess, but nonetheless, anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited to see. I know it's not that cooking right now, but they could get there. They could. Yeah. They have chances. All right, let's get into it. Least valuable, most valuable dude of the week. As always, it doesn't mean we hate or love you. It means you're the worst or best booked. Who is your least valuable dude or dudette this week of WWE?
I'm going to change it from who I originally had. And I'm going to say it's Triple H. And the reason why I'm saying it's Triple H is because of the way he's booking the show right now. And, you were just talking about it. Like, what is Seth Rollins doing at WrestleMania at the moment? One of your biggest stars. We thought we were getting Seth and Brock at WrestleMania. Now we're getting Seth to look like an afterthought in that segment. He dipped out of that ring and took off running with the rest of the masked cronies. So right now, Seth Rollins doesn't have anything going on at WrestleMania that we know of. Now, there's still time to build. But now you gave us El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, a match that could have been fun to see at WrestleMania. You gave it to us on Raw this week. Mm-hmm. And then you have what's going on with Sami Zayn. What's he doing at WrestleMania? Nothing. Another one of your big stars. LA Knight, one of the people's favorite wrestlers, literally drove the ambulance that Paul Heyman was in. And he's doing absolutely nothing. I'm going to help you fight the Vision, even though the Usos don't need his help because it's a tag team match. It's not like 3-on-2. It's not a 6-man. It's just like, what is LA Knight doing? And then the biggest shocker of them all is, what are we doing with Gunther? The man that retired John Cena, the man that retired AJ Styles, the man that retired Bill Goldberg. Not even on Raw on the build up to WrestleMania. No match right now for him. No mention, no match, no nothing for him. Now, I know the rumor is he was supposed to wrestle Ray, but Ray's hurt. But, like, you don't have...
Is that is Ray hurt?
That's what people are saying. Yeah, they're saying that he's hurt again. But, like, you don't have a backup plan? You don't, like... I don't know. To me, it's... And then the Randy heel turn feels forced. CM Punk and Roman is starting to get a little stale. And just... I don't know. I'm going to... My LVD this week is Triple H. And... I feel like he's doing the best that he can, but also leaving like you want us to be excited about WrestleMania. Give us our stars. You don't have Stone Cold Steve Austin come out on 3/16 day. I know. Like what's up with that in Texas of all places? Like, come on. Like,
was he supposed to? I didn't read anything. But why even have a day if he's not going? Why celebrate it if he's not going to be there?
Yeah, that's what I don't know if he was supposed to or not. But like, that's the thing. Like, don't get people's hopes up, and then you don't do it. It's just a lot of questionable things going on with Triple H at the moment, and you want us to be excited about WrestleMania, but you're not giving us Gunther. You're not giving us LA Knight. You're not giving us Seth Rollins right now. You're not giving us anything with Sami Zayn. You're not giving us anything with the tag division or the Vision or the Usos right now. Or like, I don't know. I'm not feeling this build to WrestleMania, and a lot of that falls on Triple H.
I'm surprised they'd even do like after every commercial break, they had like a segment of Stone Cold, like what he's done and accomplished and highlights. Yeah. It was very weird that they didn't. Anyway, well, my LVD is close to. It's similar. It's a man you brought up, and that's one Seth freaking Rollins. I just think, why come back early if you're not cleared to wrestle? The whole masked man gimmick is getting stupider and stupider. I don't know why they're still. What are you masked for? Everyone knows. Like, why are we still doing it? It's like Triple H's Vince McMahon. Like, he's in the back, like, it'll be funny if we keep doing the masked man. People will hate it, and I'll get to laugh in the back. It's just so dumb, but yet here we are still doing it. And then he faces Brock and then rolls out and dips and runs away, and we never hear him again. What's the point? And then the Vision are like, we don't need him anymore. It's like he's like, no one gives a shit about Seth Rollins, and it's wild because he was the world champion before he got injured, and now he's just a nobody, just a man who has a stupid gimmick. And it's reminding me of Dean Ambrose before he went to AEW. I'm just saying, but it's like, dude, what are we doing with this guy right now? Maybe he's gonna bounce, but nonetheless, Seth Rollins, I love you, man, and that's why you're my LVD of the week, because doing you wrong, doing you dirty.
Fair point.
All right, let's end it on the positives. MVD, are we gonna have the same one? Who do you got?
It's none other than the ruler, Oba freaking Femi.
Yes, sir.
He had that aura, he had that vibe, he had that mojo, he had that magic, and he took out Brock Lesnar in the opening of Raw in a segment that duped a lot of people. We all thought we were getting Seth versus Brock. I don't care who you are. Everybody thought that when Brock came out, when Paul Heyman was like, I want to see you're going to want to pay attention to this. I had to show up just so I could see this. And I don't think he saw Oba Femi coming. It was just, all of it was great. Oba Femi, the way that he slammed Brock Lesnar, the way that he put his foot on top of Brock Lesnar and pointed to the WrestleMania sign, that was the moment of the week. That could be the moment of his career. And this match has potential to be good, if not great, at WrestleMania. And it's one of the few matches that I'm actually really excited about. And these guys don't need to do promos every week because it's just two monsters going at it. And that's the story. And that's all I need. But my MVD this week is Oba freaking Femi.
Samesies. How could it not be? Someone who could do that to Brock Lesnar, put his chest out and point at the WrestleMania sign when you ain't even really had many matches in the WWE so far and the big stages, that's remarkable. And I actually hope we don't see them again face to face. And if we do, I hope it's the Monday right before Mania and Brock Lesnar F5s them and we go into WrestleMania season with Oba needing to get the revenge on Brock Lesnar so he wins at WrestleMania. I don't think you do. You just need that. That, like I said, that image is going to be forever. But yeah, like I said, Triple H is booking, at least valuable, this and that. He's all over the place, but he has hit a couple things right, and this was one of them. This was a pretty damn good scene. So if you take away all the dumb masked men running around beforehand.
So stupid.
Although watching them get thrown around, and the fact that they called him their leader of the crew, which was like, I was like, wait, so this is a crew?
At first,
this
I was
is like the new Shield?
Are they doing like aces and eights where like they're gonna unmask everybody like individually, and then like one of them is like Devon Dudley, another one is Jason Jordan, and another one is like, I don't know, like that's how it was. That's how it was with aces and eights. Remember?
I know, but like, WWE is a little bit bigger than TNA, but yeah.
It was like
we can't even get a Jack Swagger here.
Some like but it was a bunch of randos, and then it was Bully Ray. I was like, okay, Ken Anderson.
Hey, that was Bully Ray's one of the greatest shit. That was one of the best.
It was great. It was a great faction.
One of the greatest things ever. Yeah,
but it was just like random unmasking. Garrett Bischoff was in.
Oh yeah, poor guy. But anyway, well, there you go. There you have it. Our LVD MVDs and our weekend review. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, to watch our last episodes. We broke things down. And also, don't forget, if you like AEW, to check out our AEW episodes as well. I did pretty good in the predictions this week. So, yeah, check those out. And yeah, keep tuning in. As always, if you just want to hear me talk, I'm at my_wrestling_opinion on all social media. Hit me up. Give me some pride. I'm trying to get to 20K on the TikTok form. So go ahead and follow me on TikTok, please, please, please. And with me, as always, is
Ryan enjoys wrestling on all the social media platforms, so go follow me over there. Go follow us on X at 2DudesPC, Twitch at 2Dudes_with-attitudes. We need to go live more on there, so we'll maybe plan on going live here soon. Instagram, 2Dudes with-attitudes podcast, TikTok at 2Dudes with-attitudes, and right here on YouTube, where we are almost at 1,380 subscribers. So keep following, keep subscribing, keep commenting. Do what you got to do. Help us blow this algorithm up and grow on the YouTube at 2Dudes with-attitudes. And then, of course, we're on audio and Spotify, where we're in the top 10% of all listened to wrestling podcasts. So let's keep that momentum going. Get us into that top 5%, that top 1%. And again, the way to do that is to crack the algorithm, to leave us 5-star ratings, leave us reviews, and tell everyone about your favorite two dudes on the internet. Because as always, we appreciate everyone's love and support.
Two Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah.